No, I mean, it's all about, like I said, creating awareness. I mean, when we started out at Asagaru, the main guidelines were that we were only going to auction vintage jewelry. But it's changing. In our last auction, we had quite a few contemporary pieces, and yeah, I mean, we're open to it, for sure. Yeah.
And I think the reason why an auction house would probably pick something and select it and feature it is again because they think they'll be able to sell it and make money.
For their bad.
For their P&L and for their clients, and it's going to add value to what they're doing in the industry. So, like you said, let's be real. At the end of the day, yeah, it needs to be something which works for everyone. Any other questions? Yes, you had another question.
I think so. I wanted to know, like the bigger brands have the muscle of money and marketing, but we artisanals, we don't have that muscle. So how do we put our pieces in a more artisanal way and reach the target audience? What are the different mediums we can do that?
I'm going to give you an example from history first, and then try to answer your question. So, Mario Buccellati, when he started out, the founder of Buccellati, he didn't have the money to make jewelry and put it on display in his show window. So what he used to do was he would draw the sketches and put the sketches in the show window in Milan. And one of his biggest patrons walked by, saw that sketch, walked into the store, and that's how he would make jewelry. They would like the sketch, and he would be like, oh, I can create this for you. He would take a deposit from them, go buy the gold, and then make that piece of jewelry. And so a lot of these brands that you see today, I mean, Buccellati is owned by Richemont, but the family is still in the business. When you trace their origin story, they didn't start out as big brands, right? They start out as independent artists, and they hustled, right? So I think that's what I would like to say. And I say
awareness of shows like this.
Absolutely.
Coming to shows like this also, I think, would be a good platform, so to say, for people to see what you have. And I think the trade is honestly the best medium. Stepping stone, where people from the trade buy your stuff and sell it. So we're starting, taking that first step,
Yeah, I mean, listen, also everyone has limitations, right? Now, if you have limitations of how much resource you have, whether it's people, money, or time, then limit yourself to whatever you can achieve with your resources. You don't necessarily have to become as big a brand as the ones you're talking about. Of course, what Richa said is a great way, but maybe in today's times of instant gratification, it's a little, maybe not easy to kind of put a picture up and hold someone's interest. But my point is, if you have the reach for a 15 customer business, target those 15 and, juice that 15 customer, group that you have. You don't have to go to 15 million. I think it's very simple. If you start small, start with what you have, extract the most out of that, and then step out of that and go to the next stage. You will find a partner or a patron.
I'm just going to add one more thing to what you said. Like, again, in my previous life, I'd attended this workshop, as we all do. And the one thing that this marketing guru kept saying, every 10 minutes, narrow the focus, build the brand. And my sister and I, we're second generation entrepreneurs, and we were sitting there, and then when it finished, we were like, narrow the focus, build the brand. I swear, I don't remember anything else from that workshop, but because this guy kept repeating this one sentence over and over, it just stayed with me. And I think it's sometimes just a simple guideline or a principle or a thought that is enough to take you forward. Thank you.
That was nice.
I saw a hand
Can
at
I
the back.
add something over here? I think I started in 2009 with 3 products and 20 sketches. And the first meeting with GRT, I booked 20 pieces order. I didn't have funds. The next day, I had 20 lakhs in my account. That's how if you have a willing, you have a one thing, you have focus, you are confident with yourself, and you know you can make it, then you can. Whatever
Awesome.
you all said is very true. It's very true. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's fantastic to hear and a perfect
Well,
example.
we do fabulous work apart from, but I believe in this whole team. You all are our next X for, and people look India in a different way when we travel. There's a vast difference last 5-7 years. I many times speak with Milan Bhai also the same thing, but there is a change. Now we have to be proud to say this is made in India.
That's awesome. What's your booth number, sir? So that we can go and have a look at what you're talking about.
Well, I'm from Manoj Ornaments. Yeah, and I'm a Jadu Potawala of the company.
Thank you. Anyone else? Excellent. Well, this is going to ensure I make my flight. Thank you so much for your attention and for joining us today. We have almost a packed house, and that's fabulous to see. Everyone stay in your seat so I can take a quick photograph for Instagram and post it. Don't go anywhere. Don't move. And meanwhile, you can applaud these two gentlemen here.
In the meanwhile, I'd like to thank our speakers for this absolutely knowledgeable seminar and for the time and efforts they have put in and come today. And I'm sure it will benefit us in unknowing ways, and I'm sure we agree that it was indeed an insightful session.
Sorry, one for the row.
I would now like to call upon Mr. Ashraf Motiwala, Managing Director at AS Motiwala Fine Jewellery Private Limited, to felicitate our speakers for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us today. But before you take a leave, do not forget to join us at 3:30 p.m. for the next seminar. It will be here in the launch pad. The topic for the seminar is guerrilla marketing tactics for startups, unconventional strategies for maximum impact. See you all and thank you for joining. Thank you.